Welcome to Understanding Rights, Capacity, Compliance, and Privacy. Rights and capacity refer to the right to insert addressable advertising and the capacity required for ad insertion. Compliance and privacy addresses the legal and regulatory requirements for collecting, processing, and maintaining personal information. By the end of this module, you will be able to define rights, capacity, compliance, and privacy in relation to addressable advertising, identify the key factors impacting capacity and the design of an addressable advertising system, summarize the different methods for delivering addressable ads, and detail the high-level concerns regarding privacy and compliance. Let's begin with rights. The assignment of inventory rights, that is, the ability to insert ads into breaks, varies by geography. In some countries, all the advertising rights are controlled by the content providers. In other countries, like the United States, a portion of the inventory is set aside for the distributor to use as part of the distributor and content provider agreement. If distributors wish to provide any type of in-stream advertising service, they will need to secure the rights to the inventory from the content providers in advance. Rights can be negotiated on an avail or impression basis. If it is on an impression basis, the sharing rules must be negotiated between the content provider and the distributor. Some distributors will already have these rights, while some will have to renegotiate their business arrangements with the content providers. Next, let's talk about capacity. Key factors impacting the capacity and design of an addressable advertising system include distributor topology. Differences in topology will inform the number of ads and the type of sales models that can be supported. Delivery mechanisms. The capabilities of the video delivery system determine if ads can be delivered in the video stream, alongside the video stream, or can be delivered ahead of time for local storage in the devices. And types of devices. The type and capabilities of the devices will determine how many ads can be stored on the device. These factors influence the amount and types of addressable advertising that can be supported by a given distributor. From a practical standpoint, distributors with a substantial penetration of devices that have sufficient memory to store enough ads to cover multiple breaks between refresh periods can use a forward and store mechanism. This is where the ads are delivered to the device ahead of time and then used in breaks as they occur. This method works well with digital video recorders. Distributors who can use local storage benefit from access to a large selection of ads for any given break, have the ability to support narrowly targeted campaigns, and ultimately maximize profit. Distributors without substantial device storage capacity may be able to use the channel switching approach. In this case, ads are streamed in parallel to the content in separate channels, and the devices switch to and return from the appropriate ads at the time of the break. Executed properly, the switches are invisible to the viewer. This technique works with most devices since the demands on the device are relatively small. However, the disadvantage is the limited number of ad choices due to bandwidth constraints. In some cases, the distributor does not have the ability to make ad insertions on a device level. For situations like this, NVIDIA has developed a mechanism that allows distributors to provide audience targeting by looking for avails that have high concentrations of the target audience and optimally placing ads in these spots. NVIDIA has extended this model by taking order lines for regional ads and scheduling these across multiple copies of addressable networks, with the regional ads inserted using traditional local ad insertion technology. This allows for multiple delivery streams, each dedicated to a subset of the footprint defined. With this method, content providers are able to sell their inventory based on audience. They are also able to sell linear inventory in combination with that of other delivery platforms where individual targeting is possible. All three methods are in production today, benefiting from NVIDIA's deep experience and have built thriving addressable advertising businesses for our customers. Other considerations to keep in mind when selecting the right balance between capacity and the number of networks activated for ad insertion are content diversity. The right blend should include different categories such as sports, news, DIY, etc. Long-tail networks. Low viewership networks may not yield the revenue to justify the cost associated with activating the network for individual ad insertion purposes, but often work very well as part of aggregation campaigns. And more minutes on premium networks. Inventory growth may be realized by activating more minutes on premium networks rather than increasing the total number of activated networks. To wrap up this module, let's talk briefly about privacy and compliance. For addressable advertising to be a long-term success, distributors and content providers must respect customer privacy by ensuring awareness and adherence to each country's privacy laws, such as GDPR. Distributors and content providers will need to establish data-driven TV advertising policies that align with local privacy laws. Additionally, they'll need to develop and adopt policies to enable subscribers to opt in or opt out of addressable TV advertisements. INVIDI has deep experience in building addressable businesses and has traveled this ground many times and in many places. We look forward to partnering with you and providing the guidance you need to be successful.